Dang, man. You know what, man? I feel right sorry for Dmitry Bivol, man. I do, bruh. I feel right damn sorry for Dmitry Bivol. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's talk about it. What up, YouTube? Big T.O. Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. Get your goofy ass in here. Hit the bag. Hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. You know, I appreciate that love. Shout out my gang, my bag hitters. Y'all already know the count. Now, I know you're saying, man, see, why you feel sorry for Dmitry Bivol? You know, he's having a decent career. He knocked off Canelo Alvarez, a generational talent, a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. You know, yeah. But listen, after that much success, especially against somebody like a Canelo Alvarez, who many believe is the face of boxing, and it's hard not to put him in that position given the numbers that he's produced on pay-per-view consistently for years now. It just feels like Dmitry Bivol should be a much more sought after fighter. Like I feel like his fights should have turned into events. I don't feel like he has truly gotten the recognition that he deserves as far as it translating to a much wider, bigger fan base. And for that, I'm just like, dang, man, I feel sorry for him. Because, you know, sometimes it, you know, to even to lose to somebody like a Canelo Alvarez could instantly make you a star. But to beat him and to not garner the type of attention that I feel like he's supposed to be getting right now, it sucks. And I think a lot of that has to do with just how dead 175 is. Not a lot of drawing power at 175. But this, what I want to talk to you guys about in this video, could change the course of those things, right? With David Benavidez potentially moving up after the Demetrius Andrade fight, if he can't secure a fight with Canelo Alvarez. Now, before he left the division, I really would like to see that David Morrell Jr. fight if he was up for that. But where he is now, fighting on pay-per-view, this will be his second pay-per-view fight back-to-back. Of course, once you hit that platform, you want to continue to make the big fights. And when you're making the big fights and, you know, you can't really carry a pay-per-view by yourself, you can't really afford to fight fighters who most don't know. Now, a lot of my hardcore fans, of course, we know who David Morrell Jr. is. Of course, we think he's a huge threat to anybody at 168. Benavidez, Canelo, you name them. David Morrell Jr. is most definitely in the conversation for 168 supremacy, and I think he's going to continuously be avoided for a while until, you know, he can make a name for himself. It's crazy because he's kind of in that situation like a Boots Ennis, where they're incredibly dangerous for anybody in their weight division, but they haven't been given the opportunities, and that's kind of where David Morrell Jr. is. Not a draw. A lot of casuals don't know who the hell he is, and the champions or top guys are going to be reluctant to fight him. It's a high risk, low reward situation. So for Benavidez, I hate to admit it, but I understand. But I would hope to think he doesn't take the same route as everybody else and at least wants to get David Morrell Jr. on the resume. I always say, listen, if you're willing to fight this bum, that bum, this bum, Kyron Davis, I'm not gonna call these guys all bums, but you know, these other names, and not give somebody who actually has an interim belt a shot, you know, it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? It's the same vicious cycle in boxing. But it's extremely interesting to say, hey, after the Andrade fight, if he is successful, to move up to 175, where most people think he belongs anyway. I do as well. He's a really big 168 guy, but at the end of the day, Errol Spence was big for 147. You have guys that's always going to be a little bigger in a division, but that's the division that they make their bones. Like I always say, with Errol Spence, Just like Floyd said, he belongs at 160, 168. We believe Benavidez is a 175 or a cruiserweight guy. But if you make your bones in a division, if you work your way up the rankings in a division, if you have positioned yourself to be a mandatory and have a title shot and face and have big fights in a division, you got to do what you got to do to stay there. That's exactly why Errol Spence, knowing that 147 was dangerous for him to make, and people still using the same excuse that he was weight drained to make that fight happen, he stayed there. Why? Because he spent his time at 47 making his bones at 47. He's worked his way up to those big fights at 47, so he had to stay at 47. That's just how this works. It's the same thing for David Benavidez. He's made his bones at 68. This is where he's become two-time WBC champ, right? This is where he put in the work, and you have to make sure that work pays dividends in the division, because once you move out of that division, if you are not the champion, you have to go to the next division and basically start all over and make more bones, right? Now, if he can get a fight with Dmitry Bivol and he be willing to do so, then it makes all the sense in the world. I'm not so sure he'll do that now when you're the champion and the current champion. And if you want to go, go up a weight class or down a weight class or whatever the case may be, because you are the champion, you can be the mandatory. You can be the automatic mandatory for that sanctioning body in the division that you decide to move up to. That isn't the case for David Benavidez, especially I believe Dmitry Bivol is the WBA champ, which coincidentally is David Morrell, the interim champ, which I don't believe that means anything. I don't even know how that works. I gotta do my homework on that, because if you're an interim champ and they're supposed to be a world champ, that's why it's too many goddamn belts. If David Morrell wanted to move up and challenge Dmitry Bivol with the interim champ for the real belt, I don't think it works that way. So again, I think it would have to be for Dmitry Bivol to want to fight David Benavidez to get that fight done. But I'm telling y'all, that's extremely interesting. David Benavidez, Dmitry Bivol. Bivol already spoke on the skill set of David Benavidez. He already says he feels like David Benavidez can beat Canelo Alvarez. They've already sparred each other. Benavidez alluded to the fact that he had a really good sparring against Dmitry Bivol. So I would definitely like to see how that fight would play out. But I think that's a huge fight at 75. To give and shine more light on the skill set of a Dmitry Bivol. And I think, of course, if you follow the channel, you already know I think David Benavidez is special. Yeah, he gets a black eye because he doesn't have, or his reputation or his boxing skill set garners a lot of knocks because he doesn't have great footwork. A lot of people feel like he's not defensively sound, but I think he's continuing to get better, especially with the defense. The footwork, he's just a flat-footed, big punching machine. I don't think that'll ever change, but that's why I like his style. His style is just brutal, man. You know what I mean? Can you keep the monster off you? You know what I mean? He's not in there to float around and jump around on his toes and bounce up and down. No, he's coming for a war. Now, I like that style now because I'm a huge fan of the sweet science, but I do like the style of David Benavidez as well. You know what I mean? But David Benavidez versus Dmitry Bivol, that's huge for me. You know what I mean? If I'm just for the hardcore fans in boxing, if you see that matchup on the marquee, you're like, oh man. And then on top of that, he could get the one up on Canelo Alvarez, right? If he goes up there, beats Dmitry Bivol, that says a lot. That kind of almost forces you to fight Canelo, but or forces Canelo to fight him. But according to the WBC, if he is able to get past Andre, it looks like more than likely they will order the fight. I won't believe that shit until I actually see it, but we got to see what happens. But David Benavidez, Dmitry Bivol after Andre, if he's able to get past Andre. And listen, for David Benavidez, I hope he's not looking past Andre. I'm most definitely not looking past Andre. If anybody can defeat David Benavidez, I do believe it's Demetrius Andre. I'm giving Andre a really, really good shot of actually defeating David Benavidez. Can he survive the onslaught and not slow down in the later rounds is going to be the question. Or maybe can he hurt David Benavidez and maybe get the early KO? I think if it goes past 7, it's all David Benavidez downhill. If Demetrius Andre has a shot to end this thing early, he better take it, because I don't know if he can overcome what comes after the 7th round. All right, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. That's all I got for this one. Big T heavy bag. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.